believe in you. I believe in. If you don't sing, you'll cry. Some news from Manchester United. Some big news from Manchester United this morning. And I would say none of it's that good. None of it is that good. I think some people will spin a positive, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. Time is not a great healer. We're not in a good situation. And your little drip, drip, drip feeding of positivity to try and mug us off ain't going to work. Ain't going to work. But we'll talk about that in a moment. Let's start off with Paul Pogba, because this is not something we can moan about it. But L'Equipe, obviously, is the international break story, which I read through Sport Witness with L'Equipe, or L'Equipe, is that they've spoken to somebody close to Paul Pogba in relation to the injury that he's got. Looks very unlikely that he'll play against Liverpool. Apparently, he's got a minor fracture of one of his toes. He doesn't need an operation. He needs 7 days of recuperation and then 3 weeks of gradual reintroduction into playing football. So it's about where I mean, we've seen these pictures of Pogba in Dubai on his exercise bike. So does that mean that he's had the week of recuperation and he's now getting himself back? I would say that whatever you say, if he's had the week of rest, which I think he probably has, and he's starting to get back now, very, very unlikely to play against Liverpool, because even if he starts training next week, that's not 3 weeks. That's not 3 weeks since we played Arsenal. It looks like we've been playing Pogba with a bit of an injury. I've heard people saying, oh, Pogba and his fake injuries because he doesn't want to be here. I think that's very unfair. I think Pogba wants to play football. I don't think he wants to play football here. But if he did do that, who do you want to blame? Do you want to blame Pogba, who's forced to stay here? Or do you want to blame the board for keeping a player who doesn't want to be here because they're incompetent? I know where I'd go, and I'd blame the board. So if Pogba doesn't want to play and he has got fake injuries, why would you blame Paul Pogba? He doesn't want to be here. He made it very, very clear. It's the board for keeping him. So that's what I would say about that. But I don't believe that. I think Pogba has got an injury. I think we are forcing players back. It's very interesting with Wan-Bissaka, isn't it? I said, after the first month where Wan-Bissaka was brilliant, I said he's going to get injured. He's doing the job of two people. We haven't got a right winger. He's bombing forward, bombing backwards, bombing forward. He's going to get knackered. He's going to pick up an injury. And lo and behold, Aaron Wan-Bissaka did. He has beasted his team, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He came into this season defensive and cowardly. He beasted his team on pre-season tour. They don't look fit. They don't look full of energy. They don't look like they're any faster or quicker or better than any opposition. And we are picking up muscle injuries. That's the facts. And Paul Pogba probably was played with a knock, and it's got worse. And I doubt... Well, look, I wouldn't say he's definitely going to miss the Liverpool game, but if that's true with his foot, if you play him against Liverpool, he's not fully recovered. You've then got 2 games a week for the next month. You know, we've got Belgrade, Norwich, Chelsea, Bournemouth. We've got loads of games. So do you get him back for Liverpool, where he won't be match fit anyway, and then he might get himself injured again? I think you've got to look properly and say, if Pogba's not ready, he doesn't play against Liverpool. And that's just the way it is. And it's not great news, is it? But moving away from the Pogba thing into the stories that are coming out from the Times, and I've said this a few times, pardon the pun, Manchester United, let me just read this. So, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job is safe. The board are determined to be patient because they understand the scale of the role. And I think there's some brilliance in this. And I think it is brilliant because I think that it's very, very true that Manchester United want to stand by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. In fact, I will tell you for a fact it is true. They do not want to sack Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. There is a strong rumour that he would not be sacked even if Liverpool embarrassed us and beat us 3 or 4-0. He would still be kept in the role because they're determined not to sack him and they're determined to stand by him because of the scale of the job. Some would say this is brilliant. Ole doesn't deserve the sack, and I would probably say that myself. But the brilliance of this is, you know, like we've all been there. You know, when you've been at school, or if you're a parent yourself and you hear this, or you're a victim of it, or you see it when you used to be at school. You know that kid who's really naughty and, like, you know, whatever they've done, you know, let's not name offences, but they've done something really bad, and they have done it something really bad. But their parents come up to school sticking up for the child, saying, oh, no, 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 no. And, you know, no matter how bad their child has been, they stick up for and they stand by their child. I feel this is a bit like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the child, and he is actually factually underperforming, but the parents, the board, come in and go, no, 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 we won't listen to that. We're going to stand by him, we're going to stand by him. And the issue with this is, of course, the child is a problem, but the actual parenting is the bigger problem. And this is the problem we've got at Manchester United. These bloody incompetent parents who are going to stand by the problem child. and say, let's all focus on the child. It's the child that's, well, it's not the problem. The child's not the problem. The parents are the problem, because they won't address the issue, and also it's probably their fault they're naughty in the first place. And this is the thing. I've spoken about this ever since Sunday. Everything at the moment is about Solskjaer getting the sack. The mainstream media, ex-pundits, even us as fans, we're talking about Solskjaer, we're talking about Solskjaer. And now you've got the golden nugget. You've got the brilliant comment coming out from the club. We're going to stand by him. Shut your mouth. Like, who are you to have an opinion on this? You're the contributors. Your opinion on standing by this manager means nil. Nothing. It means absolutely nothing, because you are the contributors. And this is where this story needs to move away from. Do not let them, and the mainstream media is bad as well. We know that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is not going to be sacked. The board are going to stand by him. I don't care what the board say. They're the bloody problem. Why is all the focus on Ole here? Oh, is Ole going to get the sack? Is Ole not going to get the sack? If we get beaten 4-0 by Liverpool, it's all going to be, should Solskjaer be sacked? I'm bored of this story. This is the 4th manager they will have sacked, or keep, or recruit, or whatever. The board are the issue. What they've got to say about what the future is about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, are meant to sit back and be grateful. Oh, pass me the lube, carry on doing it. This is absolutely wrong. It is wrong, boring, and frustrating at this stage that this is a story. Oh, the board are determined to stick by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. You're the bloody problem. I don't care about whether he's sticking by this manager. To be honest, he probably isn't the right man. He probably should be sacked at some point. But right now, he should not be the focus. They should be the focus. They should be the focus. And yet we are getting stories about, oh, they are going to stick by our manager. Oh, thank you for that incompetence. Please give us some more. Keep pissing on us from a great height. This is the story. It's that. And it's moving away, as it does with every manager. It happened with Mourinho, Van Gaal, Moyes. It gets moved on to the manager. It gets moved on to the players. And it's them that are the problem. Where's the director of football? Where's the director of football? Where's the change upstairs? Because nothing is changing at this football club with that board. And it's the same. We may as well get paint and mug on our forehead. What we may as well do. Because that is what is happening consistently. We said it's a bloody frustrating cycle every time. We're now stuck in the same thing we've been doing for the last 6 years with 3 other managers, where we've got a manager, some fans are thinking he's not good enough, some people are thinking stick with him, but we've been here before. We were here a year ago with Mourinho, exactly a year ago. Some of you were saying stick with Jose, some of you were saying get rid of him. What did we do? We carried on for a couple of months, it was peaks and troughs, and he ultimately got the sack. And this is what's going to happen with Ole. Ultimately, he will get the sack, because that board will manipulate that situation with their own incompetence. So I'm bored of listening to the board are going to stand by Ole. Irrelevant. Stop talking about Ole. Start talking about the board. They're the bloody issue. And they need to wake up to that. Sitting there hoping Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to solve the mess that you've caused is ridiculous. Stop looking down and start looking at yourselves. You're incompetent. You've been doing it for 6 years. You need to rebuild that club properly. You need to get a director of football in, which is brilliant, because in the same article in the Times, the line is that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will have the veto on any signings, even if a sporting director is brought in. So even if a sporting director comes in, the story around this was that United had gone on a massive scouting expedition to find a right back. Everybody had been looking for right backs, and they narrowed it down to 5, and they focused in on Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and that was the one they went for. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will always have the final veto on any signing, despite all the massive work that went into Aaron Wan-Bissaka. To be honest with you, I don't agree. I don't even trust that we did a lot of work on Aaron Wan-Bissaka. As Rant said on the Flex and Rant show, it's the easiest signing in the world. Aaron Wan-Bissaka is an obvious signing for Manchester United. Nobody else wanted a right back this year. He's probably the best right back outside of the top 6. And he's British. I mean, don't tell me that took 10 months of research. It was bloody obvious to sign him. But the best bit about this is, even if you do all the scouting work, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer gets the veto on it. Even if we bring a sporting director, hashtag director of football in, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer gets the veto on it. Flawed logic. Absolutely flawed logic. This manager is out of his depth. He is out of his depth with no experience. He needs a director of football above him to nurture him and help him. You do not bring a director of football in and then give the manager the veto on who gets signed. That's not what a director of football is about. So we've got it arse around face as per usual. And this is what I mean. This is irritating me more than the Newcastle result now. The incompetence and how to run a football club is ridiculous. When are you going to open your eyes and open your ears and start listening to people who care about this football club? But on top of that, they're not just fans who sing Ollie at the wheel. They actually watch a lot of football. They actually take in a lot of articles, a lot of things out there about the world of football and know how successful football clubs run. You do not bring in, you know, head coaches who know what they're doing, directors of football, and then go to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and give him the final say on it. That's not what is needed. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer needs support. He does not need to have the final decision on players who come in. And then the very best about all this is, say we brought a director of football in. He suggests everything we need. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer says, I'll take that one, but not those. But then when Ole does decide something, it can get vetoed by Woodward. This is the chain of command at Manchester United. You could have a sporting director in who reports to the manager who's inexperienced, who then, if he decides it's okay, so two people, it's got to go through two people, then when they decide it, it's still got Woodward and whoever else to say, yeah, we can do it. We're a mess. The sporting director should be the person in charge of recruitment. That's what should happen. Woodward, Solskjaer, no veto. The sporting director structuralises and brings in the players and recruits players. That's what it works, and the manager coaches. This is what Mourinho was resistant to, but this is what needs to happen. It's bloody ridiculous. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But apparently Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, also the Times are saying, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has held meetings about 4 signings in the next year, one of which is a forward. Well, you know, what's that story all about? What is that story all about? It's the same story they've been churning out every month for the last 6 years. We're going to buy loads of players in the summer. We're going to buy loads of players. It's, you know, we're in a bad reign of form. What comes out in the press? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's had a meeting about signings next year. Oh, it's all right then. Everything's fine. Forget it. Don't worry about we've had the worst start in 30 years. Everything's fine because another story's come out about us signing players again. Oh, everything's fine. What a load of nonsense. What a load of nonsense. Right before this summer that's just gone, United, oh, the players, the quality of players that want to come to United, you'll be surprised. There's loads of money there to go and buy players. What happens? £60 million net spend. I ain't interested in positive spin about crappy transfer stories that are not relevant, because you've ruined that. You've ruined it. We used to have it, didn't we? Have a bad result. Oh, we're signing Bale in the summer. Boring, 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 boring. Fans have figured out what this club is all about. Smoke and no mirrors. There is no substance in anything that they are doing, and it's the same stuff. And this is what scares me the most about Manchester United. I want the club to listen, look around and start building this football club. Focusing in on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and your support from an incompetent board means nothing. Talking about a director of football but then giving Ole Gunnar Solskjaer the veto, it means nothing. Talking about transfers in general means nothing. You're failing on every level over the last 6 years. Build the fucking football club. Start sorting this football club out. That's what needs to happen, and it needs to start from the top, not with the manager. I'm irritated. That's not even a word. I'm an irritated fan of Manchester United at the moment. I am fed up of repetition. The cycle is the same. We're now stuck in it, and I can read this like a book. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will not be sacked after Liverpool. He will not be sacked this month. He may well be in danger in December. It's the same story all the time. The board want to back him. I don't care what the board want to do because they're the bloody problem. That's what the mainstream media needs to be looking at. Stop focusing on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Stop waiting for your little bit of tit-for-tat rubbish nonsense from Ed Woodward. He is the problem. He needs to sort out the football club. There are directors of football who can come in and do this role, but they've got to be given the job to do it. And already we're getting this information that if we did appoint a sporting director, Ollie still gets the final say, and then Woodward above him still gets the final say. Nonsense. Sort the bloody football club out and stop going through the same cycle of crap that we've had for the last 6 years. That's my say. We're back tonight live. It's a live show tonight. It's a 9 o'clock live show tonight, actually, because I play football at 8 o'clock tonight. So no 8 o'clock show, live at 9 o'clock tonight. Looking forward to that. We haven't been live for a while, so smash a like, make sure you subscribe. If you agree with me, get in the comments. If you don't, get into the comments. But for me, I just think everything's focusing on Ollie again. You know, we had a bit of momentum that, yeah, we need to fix the club from the top. And now it's going back to Ollie. And if you let everything be about Ollie, you're just doing what happened with Jose, Van Gaal, Moyes. Yeah, they probably all needed to be sacked, but it's the same cycle. Accountability needs to be with those people, and they're still the people who are forcing us down, going, yeah, we're sticking by Ollie. What about you? What about you?